Amazing learners. Welcome to another week of our biology lesson. This week we'll be looking at the topic overcrowding and food shortage. Our learning objective. At the end of this week lesson, you should be able to define the term overcrowding. You should be able to state the causes and effects of overcrowding. You should be able to state the measures adopted in nature to avoid overcrowding. You should be able to state the causes and effects of food shortage. And lastly, you should be able to describe how balance in nature is attained. What is overcrowding? Overcrowding is defined as a situation which occurs when a population in a given habitat increases beyond its carrying capacity of a particular area. When a population increases beyond the carrying capacity of a particular area, we say that it is overcrowded. That place is overcrowded or is overpopulated. The overcrowding occurs most especially when the space available per individual organism is too small to ensure the well-being of that organism. When the space you have as an organism is too small. If you are in your class and you a class that should be that is made up of 30 students or 25 students, and you have up to 40 students staying in such class, that simply means that the space that should be available per individual student will reduce, and it will not ensure the well-being of that student. We said that that place has been overcrowded. What are the factors that can cause overcrowding? Factors that can cause overcrowding. Number one, we have increased natality or increase in birth rate. When young ones increases, it increases the population density of that particular area, and it also results to increase in population. So high rates of birth rate increases population. Also decrease in mortality rate, and the death rate is decreased. When we have a low number of people don't die. When we say that people will stay at a long age, people are not dying, people go to war, all of them will come back alive. So we say that it increases the population. So if there is an increase in death rate, you see that the situation will not be the same. So decrease in death rate also results to overcrowding. We have absence of predators. If there are no predators in the environment, so the prey can grow and populate a particular habitat. Absence of dispersal. If seed and fruit of some plants just fall under the tree and germinate there, it will cause overcrowding. So, but if they are dispersed, you see that they will find themselves a different environment. We have immigration. When individual organism or species moves into a particular environment, they increase that particular area. We have increase in food supply. When there is excess food supply in a particular habitat, it leads to corresponding increase in population size because everyone is doing well. There is enough food, no starvation, so there will be high rate of natality. Now we have social habitats. Some organisms like termites, we have bees, they live their life in colony. So whenever they move along as a colony, they increase the population and they are being overcrowded. What are the effects of overcrowding? Effects of overcrowding, we have number one, decline in productive ability. Because of overcrowding, it will always result to abortive pregnancies. It will always result to organisms laying fewer eggs. Why? Because starvation is there. You see that as a result of competition, the pregnant organisms, will lose their pregnancies. That results to abortive pregnancies. We have shortage of food, water, and space because we have many organisms competing for few resources because they are overcrowded. This will lead to shortage of food, water, and space. We have rapid spread of diseases. If we have too many people compacted together, it will lead to a state of rapid spread of diseases where one person will just give the other the disease because they are overcrowded. We have an increase in competition for resources. Yeah, immediately the population exceeds the carrying capacity of that particular area. You see that these organisms they will be competing for limited resources. We have state of unrest. In state of unrest, some organisms undergo state of unrest when they are in an environment that is not favorable for them, an environment that is not conducive, they will be in a state of rest. Even it leads to aggressive behavior too. whereby many people will be fighting among themselves. You see domestic chickens, whenever they are fighting or they see food, they will be fighting against each other because of overcrowding. Even in human beings, you see people fighting against each other because of overcrowding. Now let's look at ways of adapting to overcrowding, adaptation against overcrowding. We have immigration. Immigration, when organisms or some members of the population moves outwards, it reduces the population through that process. We have dispersal. If you disperse fruit and seed, our animals disperse them, also increases the chance of reducing overcrowding. We have adaptive life cycle. Adaptive life cycle, some animals that their adult lives in a different place from their young ones, where is something like frogs and snakes. You see that if the adults are in water and the or if the young ones are in water and the adult they are on terrestrial land, it will reduce the population of that particular species. Instead of both young ones and adults coming together in a particular environment, here they alternate their life cycle. We have eruption and swarming, where organisms, especially a large scale of people or organisms, they immigrate into a new area. Just like when we talk about locusts, I mean, they swarm or termites, they undergo that process. And if they want to live here now, all of them, they will live together. So as they live along together, they reduces the population of that particular area. Let's look at the factors that cause food shortage. What are the factors that cause food shortage? Number one, we have population explosion. When we have a population in which the food that is available for that population is lower than the population size, we say it will lead to food shortage. So, in a country where we have fewer food compared to the population of that particular country, there will be shortage of food. We also have war. If we have during war, you see that there won't be time for cultivation. People are just carrying arms and ammunition, running for their life. It will also lead to food shortage. Drought. During drought, when drought happens for a very prolonged period of time, whether dry or hot weather, you see that everywhere is so severe and food shortage will come in within that time. And there is a high population in that particular place facing harsh condition. So drought also is one of the causes of food shortage. We have pests and diseases. When pests and diseases attacks a particular crops, when they attack a particular farmland, they can result to food shortage. Even when they attack the farmers, when farmers are being disturbed by pests and diseases, it affects the rate in which food should be produced for that particular environment. We have natural disasters like earthquake, volcano, and flood. These things can destroy a lot of farmland and leading to food shortage. What are the effects of food shortage? Number one, we have reproductive capacity of an organism will reduce as a result of food shortage. So, because starvation has comes in, there will be abortive pregnancies. So, these things will definitely lead to food. It will definitely lead to reduction in the reproductive capacity of an organism. We have death rate may be increased when there is no food. A lot of people gonna die, and apart from that, you see that people will fight against each other. Cannibalism will come in because of food shortage. We have competition for available resources. This competition for nutrients will always come in since there is not enough food to serve the high population. We have immigration. People will live from an area to an area that they can see abundant food. You can stay somewhere that there is no food and die there. So people will surely leave and find someone. Even it leads to aggressive nature. You look at the man here, you see that this man is so angry. It will lead to aggressive and unrest life because an angry man, a hungry man is an angry man. If there is no food, hey, the man will be angry. That happens to all animals. That is the major reason why it can lead to cannibalism. People will fight against each other. That's one of the effects of food shortage. Now let's look at the term balance in nature. When we say that nature is balanced, at times that there is a situation that will happen in the habitat where population of species increases rapidly. Why? Because the habitat is favorable. During this time, you see abundance of food. You will see that the organism they feed well, they grow quickly, they reach to maturity as fast as possible, and they reproduce. Why? Because the environment is favorable. Now, it will reach to this time that as they are reproducing rapidly, it will increase the population size. This increase in population size will definitely brings about overcrowding. When the population has been overcrowded, a number of factors will set in to bring down the population size. Competition will set in, shortage of food will set in, starvation will come in, abortive pregnancies will come in, death will come in, pests and diseases will come in. These factors that steps in to reduce the population size as a result of overcrowding are factors that we call environmental resistance. They are the factors that brings down the environment out of its former unfavorable state, out of its crowded state. They reduce the environment to a stable state. That we say that the environment is balanced. That's why we say that that situation in which a population size of species tend to stay towards a dynamic equilibrium at a given time, dictated that by the available resources. So this dynamic equilibrium is being detected during this time that available resources that they have made the organism to reduce. The environmental resistance have reduced the organism to a particular state of say that it is now balanced. Remember I said earlier that when an environment is stable, is favorable, that all organisms will be doing well, they will be reproducing high, and that will result to overcrowding. So overcrowding will introduce a lot of factors. So these factors that we call environmental resistance are the factors that will bring back to balance in nature. That state in which this environmental resistance returns back the population size of that particular area. We say that it is when nature has been balanced, balanced in nature. Nature has balanced the population size of those species that lives in that particular area. It has returned it to a dynamic equilibrium. Why we say that it is a dynamic equilibrium, that it is subject to change. It is a subject to change. So that state is what we call balance in nature. We'll stop here for today. Thank you guys for your attention. See you next week. Bye bye.